Hi YouTube, it's Rachel. This is going to be my labor and delivery video. And this is my son, obviously. I had him, he's 4 months old. Um, so let's get started. Like I said in my pregnancy update video, my labor started at 26 weeks and I was put on bed rest. And then after that, contractions came and gone. And then at 38 weeks, um, well, sorry, my eyes are going crazy. At 38 weeks, I I went in with a bunch of contractions, like a bunch of pain, and they're like, oh, well, you're dilated to a 2, you're 38 weeks, let's go walk around. It's safe to have him. So they had me walk around the birthing center at my hospital, and they checked me, and they're like, okay, well, you're at a 4, and you're like 75% of phase, and I was like, okay. And they're like, well, you can go home and labor and then come back in, or you can stay here. But I think, and then my midwife's like, oh, I think he'll be more comfortable at home. And I was like, okay, that's fine, I'll go. I was getting ready to go home. And then, like, she's looking at the contraction monitor. And then she's like, never mind, we're admitting you. Your contractions are, like, booming. She's like, they're going like this, 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 and this. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. And then I was like, I feared for my life. I was so scared. And then that was in, like, February. So I'm in March. So, like, February 26th, I believe, or something along those lines. And then that night, the next morning, they ended up sending me home because my contractions completely stopped. And they're like, well, you're not 39 weeks. This was on call OB. You're not 39 weeks, so we're not going to give you the Pitocin. I was like, just give me the Pitocin, let me have my child. So I didn't have him. And then March 5th, on his due date, I went in to my doctor's because I thought I was leaking. Like, I just felt like I was leaking. And they're like, no, 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 no. And then one of my midwives stripped my membranes. And then I actually had a doctor's appointment on the next day, on the 6th. So I went in. I had to have an ultrasound done to check his fluids and make sure he was head down and all that fun stuff. And make sure he was healthy. And then we went and walked around the hospital and all that. And what else did we do? And then we waited, and then I had my doctor's appointment, and then my OB checked me, and I was 4 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced. And so they lifted up that, which was fun. And then she's like, well, I'm just going to strip your membranes. And I said, okay. And that hurt so bad because I was having contractions in the middle of it. And, excuse you. And then she stripped my membranes, and it hurt. And then, long and behold, I'm just kidding. Never mind. That's later on. Anyways, and then after that, like noon, we came back to my mom's house. I went pee. We relaxed for like 2 seconds, pretty much. And then my mom's like, let's go walk around and go shopping. Maybe that'll get your contractions coming and we can have this child. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So we went to Ross Dress for Less and walked around and just had a blast. And then we're walking over to Petco, and I was like, I'm feeling these contractions, but they weren't bad. And sorry, I have like a bee outside my window in my bedroom. And then we walk into Petco. She's like, Mom, let's go to Petco. I'm just gonna go look, let's go look around, because we were right there. And my mom's like, okay, so we walk into Petco, and I felt kind of wet. I was like, okay, nothing, I felt like I had to pee. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I started leaking, and my husband and my mom were looking at like the bearded dragons or something, or geckos. I don't know, we're looking at the reptiles. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I need to go find a bathroom. She's like, okay. She's like, well, we have to go find somebody to find the bathroom. I was like, no, Mom, really. She's like, okay. Thinking nothing of it. I was like, no, Mom, seriously, either I just peed myself or my water broke. And I was like, and I really think it was my water. She's like, oh, okay, so we had to hurry and find somebody. And then I went pee. Well, I thought I went pee. I'm not sure. And it just, like, wouldn't stop coming. I was like, Mom, yeah, it's my water. So she's like, okay, pull up your pants and let's go. I was like, Mom, can I put toilet paper in my pants because this is disgusting? She's like, okay, so I put a bunch of toilet paper in, and that didn't really help at all. Um, so called my OB office, and I was like, okay. They're like, go to the birthing center. I was like, okay. So I go to the birthing center, and they're like, okay, well, we gotta check to make sure it's your water. It's like, okay. So they do a little test. They're like, yeah, it's your water. We're admitting you. I was like, okay. And then I was like, can I get my jacuzzi tub? They're like, yeah. So I got in the tub, and I was like, okay, this isn't relaxing me. Like, just, it's making my back hurt worse. And it's like making the contractions worse. It's like, whatever. And so it's like, I want my epidural. So I got out, and I called my nurse. I was like, okay, I want my epidural. So they checked me. You got a 5. Okay. I don't know what you're doing. So I'm at a 5 and get my epidural. My mom, well, since we live with my mom now, we live across the street from the hospital. So my mom's like, okay, you're at a 5, you got your epidural. You're going to, you know, get some rest. I'm going to go over across the street and get coffee because we're going to be here all night. Be up all night, my mom. I was just like, okay, Mom, whatever. And they check me because they have to put a catheter in you when you get an epidural. And they're like, you're at a 9. And my mom had just left. So we call my mom and tell her, and she's like, you're lying, stop lying. And the nurse is like, no, she really is at a 9. So, what fussy pants? Anyways, you know, there's her bottle. And then, so that was like 10 minutes after getting my epidural, I was at a 9. And then, like 5 minutes later, I was at a 10. So, my whole pushing process and the whole pushing him out, I had no epidural. I felt everything was all natural. Because I had it turned off. Because I just gotten it. And then, I pushed for an hour and a half. My water broke about 3:45, so I pushed for an hour and a half. My son was born at 11:02 p.m., March 6th. He weighed 7 pounds, 11 ounces, 19.5 inches long. Came out crying. In my hospital stay, I was there the night I had him and the day after I had him. Then I went home 2 days after I had him. They really wanted me to stay another night, and I was like, no, I want my own bed. And he only breastfed for about a month, so he actually took himself off at a month. He's like, no, I'm done. So I'm watching She's the Man, which I forgot what they're screaming about. Oh, tarantula. Anyways, sorry. He's acting weird. So that was pretty much it. All in all, it went great. I only had to get one stitch. Hold on. Sorry. Anyways, so that was about it. I only had to get one stitch. But that's it. Well, that is my labor and delivery story. I mean, it's nothing exciting. Didn't have to like rush me to do nothing or. Oh, but pushing. I pretty much puked him out. Every time I would push, I would puke. So they said to stop pushing to puke. I thought about pushing puking, so I puked him out, which they've never heard of, but that's my family. We do things you never hear of. Like hold on, he has a hair stuck to it, so there we go. My cousin, her 3-year-old daughter, when she was born in her water sack, so that's like uncommon. But that's pretty much it. Not really anything interesting, but that's my labor and delivery video. And I will do his update after I get back from his doctor's office. He has an appointment at 1:40, so I will give you all like his as like 2-month appointment, and this is his 4-month, and all that. I'll give you guys all that updates and stuff when I get back from his doctor's appointment. All right, thanks guys. Say bye YouTube. Bye guys.